video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I'm KJ Wright from the Seattle Seahawks, and you are watching NorbFam.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to NorbCam Hawks Real Talk. Going to talk a little bit about this fantastic game that was the Seahawks win over the Atlanta Falcons, and looking ahead to Sunday's matchup against the very tough Buffalo Bills team. And right now, it's the as we're recording this live or streaming this live, it's the Amazon Thursday night game between the rival Rams and the Vikings in a tight game. The Rams have the football with, it looks like it's fourth down, and it's 28-20, Rams on top, threatening to stick another one to the Vikings here. We'll see how it goes, but it's coming down to the wire inside of 2 minutes. But let's talk about this game here. But first, we got to meet the rest of the panel tonight, and here we go. Let's do it. There we got Sky-High Aviation from the University of North Dakota. What's going on, Sky-High?
What's going on, Norb? It's been a really long week this week, but, I'm excited. The weekend's coming up. We got football. We got lots of great activities coming up this weekend, and, I'm just really looking forward to breaking down what happened on Sunday and previewing what's going to happen this Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And, of course, we've got Abel Pasley. Abel joining us from it's Kirkland, Washington, right?
Like Des Moines, yeah.
I keep thinking you're east, but you're not. You're actually southwest of me. Des Moines, Washington, where our viewing party against the 49ers on the 17th of November will be, that neck of the woods. But yeah, Abel, how have you been?
Been good. Long week. Happy to recap the game, and can't wait to look more into this next one.
Yeah, and just a quick update on this Vikings-Rams game. It's 1 minute, 46 seconds left. Vikings with the ball at their own about 5-yard line. They got to go 95 yards for a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion in order to tie the ball game up. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if anything exciting happens. That's odds are not great in their favor, especially without any timeouts, but we'll keep an eye on that. Alena was watching the show. She says she loves my shirt. Thank you. This is new. I just wearing it for the first time today. I got it in the mail. I'm not even sure who sent this to me, but the old school logo, a nice little black polo, so feeling a little fresh in my new outfit here. But yeah, let's go around quick around the horn. We're missing Nick LaBow. He's from Bellevue, Washington. Unfortunately, Nick is preoccupied with other more pressing matters, so hopefully he'll join us next time. But let's start with you, Sky High. Just give me kind of the 1 minute wrap up of what you saw the Seahawks do to the Falcons. How did you feel watching that win?
Kids these days, they can't get their priorities straight. This comes first.
That's right.
I love the dishwasher later. This game, I felt like we really kind of got our confidence back. I got our mojo back. The defense did really good in terms of stopping the run. There were a few things here and there, and that's something that we'll probably address when it comes to the film room later today. But the offense also looked really free. They looked really that they were in control of the game. When it came to third down, I wasn't, scrambling to think, oh my gosh, here we go again. We're gonna have to punt it. No, I was thinking, I felt we felt like we got a lot of confidence back on offense, especially with the running game. Mike Jarrell impressed greatly in his debut, and he's going to hold down the fort there until hopefully Lucas comes back. But I think he still has a place in that offensive line somewhere. And I was still also impressed with the defense as well. Forcing turnovers was good, and that was also very, very key to allowing us to win this game.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of good things went our way. A lot of stuff that you mentioned that some of it we haven't been having go our way. The turnovers and just it was an opportune game where the Seattle capitalized on the mistakes that the Falcons had. By the way, update on this game. The game is pretty much over. Sam Darnold sacked in the end zone for a safety, so that's going to make it a 10-point game. They're arguing that it was a face mask. I couldn't really see the replay, but that's what Darnold said. It looks like they're not. Is it? But they didn't call it. They did not throw the flag. So apparently Rams are going to get away with one with a 10-point win, and the clock pretty much going to just run out here as they're going to have to kick the ball over to the Rams. So that game is pretty much over. So let's go to Abel, the more important, interesting things. Your take on the Falcons game we saw on Sunday.
You know, we saw a lot of great things. A lot of things that we pointed out beforehand. Some of the main things were turnovers and explosive plays, and I thought we executed those greatly. We see what happens when you get, big plays like the strip sack and the 2 interceptions. You see how that kind of changes dynamics of games. Great game all around on offense. I think we distributed the ball pretty evenly. DK and K9 and Geno having great games. So it's great to see our main weapons on offense doing brilliant. And yeah, on defense, like the way we showed up. You see what happens when we have a healthy D line. And it's good to know that we have some people that can, produce some pass rush.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just bring you a few stats from this game as I go through there. You know, what's interesting is while it felt like a dominating win, we didn't really dominate in all the categories except maybe the most important one, A, the score, and B, the turnovers. Really, the rest of it, the Falcons kind of got their way. I mean, look at this, 22 first downs to 20, 8 of 15 on third down versus 4 for 11, 369 total yards versus 339 to us, 214 passing. We had a little bit there, 214 to 236 to their 214. They rushed more than us, 155 to 103. They had time of possession, 31 minutes to our 28. Again, the biggest thing for us, though, was the turnovers. I think that, for me, that was the biggest difference in this game. And it's been the issue we've had in our 3 losses. We were negative on the turnover battle. And I think we've always talked about, you can't win a game if you turn the ball over like we did against the 49ers on Thursday Night Football. You turn over the ball 3 times to a team that's any good, you're not going to get a win. And it's nice that we were plus 3 in the turnover area, and that definitely made it to where we kind of had the Falcons where we wanted to. Geno, once again, was brilliant in the pocket, aided by Mike Jarrell, as you guys mentioned, right tackle, 4th string tackle, filling in on the right side instead of the injured Stone Forsythe, and he did pretty well, all things considered. And K9, who we didn't know if he was going to play that day, was sick with the flu or whatever and looked like he was not in good shape. He ends up playing and having the game of the year, man. Just the 2 touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown, a passing reception, which was a beautiful catch. I mean, you normally see receivers make those kind of outstretched arm catches, and that was K9, a running back, making that beautiful catch. But Geno making that play to DK Metcalf right before the end of the first half. It's on a rope. Singed it in there like a bullet to DK between converging defenders for the score right before the half. And that was a really important play because if we didn't score there, the Falcons would have had the old halftime score scenario. So getting that touchdown was huge to keep the lead for the Seattle. But yeah, really just the pressure on the quarterback, finally getting to it and actually putting the quarterback down, and not only doing that, but getting the ball out and getting the scoop and score. I mean, there's so many great highlights in this game. But obviously then following that, forced them into a throwing situation, got to pick off the quarterback. It was a great thing to see. It was nice to not have to deal with a stressful ending where we're always like holding our breath at the end or having to come back and try to grind our way back. It was nice that we pretty much had the lead from the start, and I don't think we ever really relinquished it. So it was a complete team win. Oh, and then not many people talking about it, but Jason Myers hitting that 59-yard field goal. I don't know if that was his high. Is that his high? Is that the longest field goal he's had, or do you have one longer?
No, he's got one further than that.
Yeah, that was the longest one in the stadium history.
But he'd hit a 60 before then?
I think he hit a 61-yarder before.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, Jason Myers, though. You can't say enough about that guy. Anyway,
I will say the Vikings just attempted probably the weirdest onside punt that I've ever seen. They kicked the ball about as high as you could into the air, tried to get it to go. They tried to do a 10-yard punt. So they kicked it about as high as you can. It traveled about 11 yards, and they all surrounded the Rams player while they can't touch him. So he just caught it and fell to the ground. And I mean, you could fair catch it, but even then, if you drop it while you're surrounded by players, it's a live ball. So
yeah, well, I guess that's true if he drops it. But in general, I've never seen a safety where anyone's ever tried an onside free kick on a safety. I've never seen it done. I didn't think so either. I didn't think you could onside that. I guess it's not an onside. You're just trying to see if you can get the guy to drop it. Because, as soon as he touches the ball, it's live. So if he gets
over 10 yards, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It's not an onside kick per se, but it is just can you get the guy to fumble? So interesting. But you know what the guy could have done? He could have just said he could have just fair catch. He could just fair caught it. And then you couldn't hit the guy. But I guess he could still drop it, right? So anyway. Oh, well, they lose. So Rams will get another win. Vikings drop another one, tightening up the NFC. But the bad news is now the Rams are freaking like getting healthier. They're getting good again, just in time for us to play them in about a week and a half. So sometimes the timing of these things just really sucks because the Rams were like total garbage for the first 4 weeks of the year, and now they're starting to get good again. So but let's go back to our Seahawks because that's really what we're going to talk about here. I'm excited to see what plays you've broken down. Just so you guys who are new on the show, what we do is Sky-High Aviation pulls about 9 or 10 plays of his choice from the previous game. He breaks it down. We comment a little bit about what we've seen. And at the end, we'll review our score predictions from the previous week, what we thought the game was going to do, what we actually did, and we'll predict and talk a little bit about the following game. We'll try to get that all done in the next, within the hour of the show. So, Sky-High, you ready to jump in to diagnose some of these amazing highlight plays from last week?
I am ready. I just gotta, do the little whole share the screen thing, and then we'll be cooking. So.
Hey, no problem. Let me just, the other good news that we've had some personnel moves, guys coming back, and some changes. You might have seen my video that I posted earlier about the Seahawks making a trade. We got rid of Jerome Baker, sending him to the Titans in exchange for Ernest Jones, Dr. Jones, joining the team at linebacker. He's going to go to middle linebacker. And what's his name? Tyrell Dodson's going to go to weak side linebacker. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think the numbers look pretty good. But what were you guys' reaction to the move? Abel, did you like the news on this trade?
I think it was a pleasant surprise. I think this year Jerome Baker did not produce as expected. And this is definitely not anything near a panic move, especially off of a win. I think it was more of kind of a sure move because we saw Jerome Baker not really produce. And I think we just wanted an extra guy to kind of boost this defense. We wanted a guy to bring in to, motivate this team. And I think it was a good move. I agree. I think the stats have showed some bright things, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah. How about you, Sky-High? What was your reaction to the trade? I was a little bit surprised that it happened, but once I kind of got to know who the trade was for, I thought it was pretty good. What do you think?
Well, I'll let the first play to determine how good I think the trade.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and let's go ahead and
jump into it. Well, let's do it. Let's transition right into that.
Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's get some Ernest Jones film review in, right? I had to throw a couple of his plays in. I knew he would be a talking point tonight. And, as Norb said, he's taking over that middle linebacker position. And he's just a guy who is a ball finder, right? He is someone pause. He is someone that just rallies towards the football. Like almost as good as anybody in the league, and I think he's a terrific pickup. I think Jerome Baker was okay, right? He was a good enough linebacker. He's a good, decent tackling linebacker, but he wasn't filling the needs in terms of being able to stop the run, being able to get home on our blitzes, which obviously weren't being completed at the highest success rate. So I think. Ernest Jones is a guy who can be really explosive for us, and we're going to see it right here because this has been circulating all over social media. And we'll look at this first play here. He lines up right over the center, indicates he's going to blitz. I mean, that might just be the most insane bull rush. He just knocks over the center, right over. And this is in a week 1 matchup where it's Caleb Williams' first game. Nope, we want that out of the way. Caleb Williams' first game against the Titans. And this is what he is. He's a bully. He's got 29 solo tackles on the year, no assisted tackles. So he's a guy that finds the football, reads his gaps correctly, and knows what to do and how to get to the football. And so he's that kind of guy that I think we've been looking for at linebacker, who can, one, has excellent tackling ability, and two, is able to find the ball, not overcommit on runs, being able to read the defense well. He's a smart, savvy linebacker, and he's a leader on this defense. He's a guy who's been in meaningful games like the playoffs. He's played in the Super Bowl with the Rams. He has collected, he wasn't just a guy who sat on the sideline in the Super Bowl. He was the starting linebacker for the Rams when they won that Super Bowl. So he is a guy that is just worth it in my opinion. To get this trade, I'm expecting him to make large contributions to this defense. And again, if we watch it again, it was just he doesn't even need to attempt to do any move. He just barrels him over and nearly gets to the quarterback. So very impressive.
Love it.
Yeah, the last time I've gotten this like feeling of watching a guy's highlights in a new acquisition, it's been a little bit. I mean, I remember having a similar feeling to when we had the Jamal Adams acquisition. Whole different animal, a lot bigger of a trade, but it's a familiar feeling with, like, you see the highlights and you're like, wow, this guy could contribute to the team. So it's a good acquisition, I think.
I think this, to me, it comes at the perfect time because I was already concerned about the linebacking situation before the season started. Before I even saw those guys, I was just like, okay, 2 guys are 1-year deals. I hope they're good. And then Jerome Baker was injured all off season, didn't go to camp, didn't go to any of the preseason stuff, and only made it onto the field finally for that first game. Injured the next game after that and was gone for a couple of games. So he's really just hasn't been around. He's just injury prone. And then a few times he did play, he's looked like he was not in his gaps, missed tackled, bad angles. I just didn't really see much that impressed me. And I was like, man, I don't know. It's kind of like the feeling of the offensive line. Is it really going to get any better? Well, they made it better because they got rid of what was, I think, a liability. And they brought in a guy who, so far from what I've seen, does everything better than what I was complaining about that Jerome Baker wasn't doing. So obviously the Seahawks kind of took one on the chin and said, well, yeah, we kind of screwed up, guys. So we're going to fix this right now. Obviously because they're number 1 in the division right now and they're still in the hunt. So why not make a move to try to improve the team as opposed to the Titans who are pretty much just casting off all kinds of players and just building for the future. So luckily we're in a place where we're still in first place despite the fact that we're only 4-3. But here we are, first place, still have something to play for. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, I didn't know it'd end up like this, but I had a play prepared, and I've been fooling with it since the stream started, trying to figure out how to get it to go sideways or how to change the ratio or not ratio. But
yeah, to rotate it, or we all just turn our heads to the side.
I don't want to make you guys turn your heads to the side, so. But I can hand. I mean, Jerome Baker. It's an example of him reading a run play perfectly and not overcommitting and being able to make the tackle. So, there you go. Maybe we'll go ahead and move on to the next one.
Okay. All right. No problem. We'll just call that a. We just weren't sound in our gap on that one. That was a bad run fit. We'll just forget that play for a second and move on. Move along. All
right. We'll go back to present day here.
Things are right in the world again.
Yeah, things are right in the world. We're in Atlanta. Present day spread offense. Spread offense here. Pro style spread offense. Lots of white guys split out. Usually minimal bodies on the line. And this is a testament here because Skip Bayless is in the chat. Wow.
Skip has got nothing better to do on a Thursday night than watch us do film breakdown of the Seahawks and the Falcons. Thanks for watching, Skip Bayless.
Terrible talk show, but you know what? It's okay. Yeah, I was, we talked about how I talked about in the open on how I was impressed with Michael Jarrell's from the University of Findlay, D2. He was how impressed I was with him, and obviously the Falcons' defensive line we weren't expecting them to be a formidable opponent, but yet again he was very impressive from going from playing Division II football to starting a pro football game in the National Football League and playing the majority of snaps. Seattle often, they trusted him a lot. They put a lot of faith into him as a player and a guy that restored a lot of faith today was Ken Walker, and we're going to see that here eventually in what was eventually the first of his first of two touchdowns today. And, one thing that I noticed is when Seattle would run the ball in the shotgun formation, it was a lot of counter. It was a lot of counter runs. Really, I think we had not seen a lot of success with running Ken Walker in a lot of zone schemes. Maybe more counter cutback blocks would allow him to see more gaps or allow him to see better success. And you're going to see here that he's going to run right behind Jarrell in this C gap. The Falcons even send an extra man down. He cuts back out, and Jarrell and I want to say that's Christian Haynes because Bradford wears the long sleeves. They do a great job of sealing this gap open because Walker sees it immediately and he could shoot right through. Metcalf's obviously going to handle him. We know DK has some issues with holding, but the idea is that Metcalf should be able to handle him, and it creates a one-on-one situation with Walker and the safety where it's more than likely than not that Walker's going to be able to succeed. So again, this is a good job by that offensive line, essentially in the counter, creating that wall and creating this funnel where Ken Walker essentially can go through and create that space. Because now, if I take all this ink away, now he's essentially got the corner here, and he's got all the space to work through. So, again, I was beyond impressed with Jarrell. There were a few plays where he might have struggled, but he was very disciplined. He took his assignments very seriously, and he did a good job. I mean, look at that. He is not letting Matthew Judon release, who was one of the best defensive players in football a few years ago, not release. And Walker does just a fantastic job accelerating into the secondary. And I think what got a lot of attention is that DK just was blocking this guy up here with one hand. But we'll see in the alternate angle once we pull it up here. A better look at Christian Haynes and Michael Jarrell there.
Boom.
Walker's vision. He's smart enough to realize, hey, this guy's got leverage on me on the inside here. I shouldn't really run through there because there's a chance that the linebacker can crack down here. My eyes go immediately to this gap right there. And Michael Jarrell, he's working on an island here, right? You just got to keep him lateral. Don't let him work vertically to close that gap, or horizontally here to keep him close that gap, but keep him working up vertically on the lateral side. And we'll let this run out again just to show you as Walker splits that C gap. DK's blocking with one hand, and then DK's like, stay down. I just love this place. Stay down, little boy.
Do you have if you back that up, do you still have a view of DK blocking him? Is he in the frame when K9 gets kind of towards him? I didn't see it. Kind of got cut off a little bit. All right. Yeah, there you go.
He's kind of
I don't know if you saw it, but there was multiple posts, online, talking about that one arm blocking thing. People are like, that's holding. And a lot of people say, well, if you know football, no, it's not. And I just want to clear that for the record here. Is it holding or not? Because clearly Geno's got a grab. He's got a grasp of the guy, like right here in his chest plate, and not letting him go. But why is it not holding? For those of you who are confused because he's holding on to him, but why is or is it not holding? Let's clear it up for the record, shall we?
So if the defender is in front of the blocker, you can grab his jersey. It's when he's going around or trying to make the tackle toward the runner, and you're restricting him from that movement, that's when it's holding. You can see there, he's in front of him the whole time. So you can grab the jersey when he's in front of you, but if he has the edge, and you're grabbing the back of his jersey or the side of his jersey and trying to pull him, that's holding. Also, one more thing. It's great to see, like Sky said, a safety versus K9 one-on-one matchup. Because not only do we know K9 well, we know he has the ability to beat anyone on a one-on-one. He, even if he does get tackled there before the, end zone, that's still a lengthy gain. I mean, it's well executed and well designed, and it's good to know we have a good runner that can execute.
Yeah, and I made this point on a comment on responding to that. But when you watch offensive linemen in the trenches, you'll see them grab the jersey in here all the time. There's hands on this part of it. It's when they break out to release, like you said, and then they grab the shoulder and start pulling, tugging on the stuff on the outside. That's when they get called. But you get your hands all up in here. That's all fair game.
DK kind of just lets him go when he releases. Right there.
It's funny though. He's so casual. He's not even putting an effort. He's like taking a walk in the park. Literally like walking a dog. And, look at that. Just walk in. Just like, yeah, no, son. I don't think so.
Stay there. And then stay there and then stay down. So, yeah. The start to what would be a great day. So we'll go ahead and move on here.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, this is just the start of many highlights throughout this game, both offensively and defensively.
We're going to go ahead and draw this up.
I think I know this play. Well, maybe I don't know. Well, actually, I'm not sure. I have a hunch. Oh, I do know the play.
You do
picked all the good ones.
I did. I knew you would like this one, and I was going over it, and I was like, I think Norb will kill me if I didn't include this one. There's not much to talk about.
Well, how often do we do a play like this? Yeah, we had to do this one.
So, yeah, Smith and Jigba's moving around. He's the guy that really, he's our slot receiver, so he moves around the most. Geno dishes that backwards pass. And, the key, again, that makes this play just work with the timing is Bobo, who's our best blocker as a wide receiver, holds his serve. DK runs his solo route there, go route down the sideline, and he sets his feet, plants his feet. And I think what makes this work is the fact that JSN underthrows this ball. It's the pass
right.
is underthrown. DK does not have leverage on AJ Terrell. He lets it go, and the ball is underthrown. So Terrell's expecting, because Metcalf's continuing to just advance towards the sideline, he's expecting, okay, I need to keep running. Instead, DK actually knows where the ball is, and he's able to break off the coverage here. And you can see that Terrell overruns. He turns around, he's like, where's DK? He overruns, which allows Metcalf to, get some space for himself. And he makes a catch, and I don't know where he's going, but he was down. And again, testament to that offensive line. They hold up well enough again. JSN maybe roughing the passer on him, from Judon on him, but who cares?
He did take a shot. And
boom, bada bing, bada underthrown. But it worked out. I kind of was scared when he released that ball. I was like, oh god, I see three dudes around him.
No.
I was holding my breath. I was like, oh god, up for grabs.
We had a bad history before that too of like trick passes.
Yeah, that brought me back to the Josh Gordon one against.
Yeah, we had like a 13 attempt streak of like trying these trick passes, and like 5 of them have been picked or something. I remember a really bad one where I can't remember who the running back was. The running back trying to throw.
DJ Dallas.
Yeah, DJ Dallas threw it right to the defender. It was like not even close. But yeah, that was pretty sweet. But yeah, was it a great throw? No, there's like 3 guys who were all down there who, if the ball had been anywhere else, it would have been picked off. But DK was the only one who made the move.
Yeah.
That's what DK does.
DK did, yep. All right, next one here.
Why you trade him?
Yeah, trade up.
Oh, look at that. Behind the scenes. Whoopsie. Behind the scenes. All right, this play, this play brought me back some. Trade DK to the Chiefs. I'm not going to pay attention to that. Nice try. Nice try. Yeah. Nice try, Diddy.
You guys could debate in the chat because DK's not going anywhere.
So this is something that I think is just transition or transcended from all types of Seahawks defensive, offensive coordinators. It's the love for just scoring touchdowns right before the end of the half. Falcons are in a deep cover 2. Everybody's really going to drop back. They're playing somewhat of not really a prevent defense, but somewhat of, okay, we're going to try and you're going to line up on the right side of the field. We're really going to try and shade off this area, not really allow a decent completion. And this is going to allow wow, somebody's phone is going off like crazy.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Norb's a famous person, guys. You guys got to pay attention to that. This is going to allow Metcalf to almost initiate that he's going to run a post, but instead he runs that skinny in instead. And the safety, they're not going to stand right here, right? Once they see Metcalf really coming towards the end zone, they're going to shift back. And we'll look at this again once we get it once we start to play. And this is really to DK the entire time. It's a in and post out, right? So JSN, Fant works to the sideline, JSN works to the sideline, Lockett works to the sideline, DK goes out and in like that. And Geno steps up. Jarrell gets beat initially, so does Bradford. But right then and there, you can look at it and you see how far these safeties are apart, right? They're at least 20 yards, 25 yards apart. DK breaks to the inside. Jesse Bates breaks his contain, thinking that DK is going to the corner, which in theory, it's not that that far of an idea, right? The corner of the end zone is really the less dangerous part of the field when it comes to throwing a ball when you're working with a limited play clock. But DK works inside, right? And it's just a matter of if this safety can beat him to the ball, and he's not able to because the ball is already out of Geno's hands.
And I would say, you said 25 yards. That looked more like 10 to 12 yards. I mean, that window is not that big because sideline to sideline is 33 1/3 yards, isn't it? So that's...
I thought it was 52 yards.
No, that's 33 1/3. Anyway, I think it's closer to 10 to 12. Anyway, my point, though, is I'm giving Geno even more credit. The fact that he had to thread that even tighter needle. That is not a big window. Maybe to him it is, but
that's what he does.
Fast.
They step up when Geno steps up into the pocket. With this year, it's been kind of scary when he steps up into the pocket because there's been times where it's been a bad play. But yeah, I mean that's just good awareness and way to execute to end the half. I'm just surprised too because they kind of had this prevent defense on, and they still just that window is so big that the room for error was pretty high.
Well, if you go back to about when DK's about the 10-yard line, because he's on a full-on sprint, and so the corner's not going to be able to keep up with him, right? He's like kind of chasing him, but he goes right by him, right? So right there, so the safety knows, okay, it's on me to cover DK because the corner's beat. So he's either going to the corner or he's going to the post, and DK makes a nice little shimmy left, gets that safety to take one step to his right, just enough to throw him off, and then moves hard angle to the post. And that little shimmy, that's what got him free. And of course, you got the other receiver. Is that Lockett, the one who's going down?
He takes that safety up.
Takes that safety out enough to open that window. But DK did a good job of basically freezing the safety and giving a nice little open window for Geno to throw to. And the protection was, like you said, pretty good. He did have to step up, but at least he had a pocket to step up in, right? I mean, that's what you want in the pocket. You want the rushers to be pushed behind the quarterback so he can step up and still see where he's going to, as opposed to most times we got guys right in his face and he can't step up. So this was the perfect drive. I call this like the best drive of the season right here because it was a minute and 7. And they went down from their own about 20-something or 30-yard line for the touchdown and still had time on the clock left. Just enough.
Man, you love to see it. Look at all those Seahawks fans.
Hands up in the air. Woo!
And I think one other thing is when he is able to step into the pocket, you kind of see this whole new force of momentum because, you can keep rolling the play. You see after they push him back and he gets forward, you can see that big step and then him just winding back. So that extra ability to be able to go up into the pocket and get momentum really helps instead of rolling out or having to throw it on your back foot.
Exactly. And so many of the times when Geno's made bad throws, people don't look at that, but a lot of times because of that, he can't step into the throw because there's a guy in his face or he's falling back, so he has to throw off his back foot. The opposite of what you're just saying. No momentum. It's falling back momentum, so the ball is actually carrying or going slow. Here, like you said, it's like a pitcher or like a outfielder getting that running start to throw a ball to home. Right, takes a couple extra steps and zips it down so he can really huck that ball. It's exactly what Geno was able to do. Put an extra mile or 2 mile an hour on that ball and zip it in before that safety could come over. It's beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. I mean, a split second later, and that ball's probably jarred loose.
and then he gets up after a huge hit and just lets out a scream.
Yeah.
I love that play. That was great. That was such a great play. Love that one. That whole drive. I mean, everything. That drive was perfect. Efficiency, perfection. The Tyler Lockett throws, the Fant couple throws, and then they set that one up for the DK touchdown. It was funny because if you watch my live stream, me and my dad were watching the game with my mom, and my dad was like, "We got to kick the field goal. It was like 10 seconds left. We got to kick the field goal." I said, "No, Dad, we got one more play. We give him one more time to the end zone or sideline route." No, we should kick the field goal. Glad we didn't kick the field goal.
I got yelled at by you. He was like, "Don't be spoiling the results in the chat," and I was like, "Oh no, sorry." Yeah, don't be doing that, guys. You know, this is Norb stream. All right. This was a 4th down and 1 conversion. Robo looks like a power. Oh my lord, that's not PG. So this is actually, I think, the play that we should have ran on that 4th down against the Giants. But you know what? It is what it is. And this is really something that you don't really see. It's almost like a split wing formation or a reverse wing formation, right? The wing is right there, right? You got the wing of the plane, woohoo, right? It's you're either gonna have the option to hand it up. You could hand it off directly to Walker and he can go this way, or you could flip it out to him and he could go that way, or you could hand it off to Charbonnet and you could run behind that C gap behind your tight end, your 2 tight ends, or Bobo, and that left side of your offensive line, or these 3 blockers right here. I know it's a lot to see, but those are probably your best 3 run blockers right there with Charles Cross leading the way. You go ahead, Sid Hutt initially turns, right? Geno initially turns, and the Falcons are going all out for this run, right? They've got all but 2 guys up on the line. It looks like it could be a Ken Walker zip. Wow, I hear a lot of chattering. I don't know, Norb. I do hear a lot of chattering in the back.
I think my oldest daughter just got here back from college, so they're like reuniting in the other room. So I'll mute my mic.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And he hands it off to Charbonnet, and all that matters here is reading the right gap. He does. The Seahawks offensive line collapses to create that natural gap and to create that one-on-one block for Bobo, and then you have easy enough first down and more. Really smart, really nice play design. I'd expect, honestly, to see more of that possibly going forward when it comes to short yardage situations. Seattle does such a good – I mean, look at that. That's a really impressive job from Farrell Brown and Charles Cross, who, you know, there's nothing more than I love than crediting blocking plays. And they crash down on the offensive line here, and they compress this Falcons defensive line and keep them essentially inside these hash marks to create that natural gap. Bobo's got his assignment worked out perfectly, and the cornerback's eyes are going to be taken away by Ken Walker coming across your screen there. So really good trap-style concept run.
Yeah.
And that's impressive as well.
It's if you go back, it kind of looks like in a way like a misdirection, and you see the whole D line is kind of shifting this way. So when you hand it off to Charbonnet, it creates this hole because you'll see at number 20, his immediate momentum is going pretty much directly towards Geno. So you'll see Charbonnet kind of cuts back, and it just leaves a open room. And it's good for the O-line, too, because they're taking his momentum and bringing him away. And,
it was a great design. I was nervous because how many times have we been in short yardage situations and not gotten it, right? Hit a stone wall, and it's like everybody knows you're going up the middle. Here, it's like I think they thought they were going up the middle, so everybody just crashed hard right at the center point of attack. But having K9, that threat to go outside, freezes that corner, and then and everybody just crashing in, and they just used their momentum against them. They basically went where they wanted to go, and it left a nice little slot there for Charbonnet to run through. It was great. Needed that play.
Honestly, I think there's going to be more. You're going to see a lot more plays out of this formation when it comes to short yardage. Because if he fakes it here, then Bobo gets his block up here. Then you've got, you can either have Geno run it for the first down or pitch it out, and then you've got a 2-on-1. So almost like an option, triple option style play there. And I mean, honestly, if you fake it here and you give yourself just enough time to pitch it out to K9,
he's gone to the races if he gets that corner.
I think that's when the corners were thinking of like that explosive play. So.
All right, so there you go. I started to feel pretty good about the game at this point. You know, we were looking fairly decent, and I ended up pull up this next play here. Talk amongst yourselves, I guess. Never mind. Here we are. Never mind. We shall not talk amongst ourselves. Again,
we're ready. We're keep going.
Offensive line does a good enough job. It allows Geno to step up here to make this throw. Metcalf comes in. Walker goes out. He's that first read, and he's that man all the way the entire time. And you will see here once I start this play. Geno takes the ball. Jarrell just gets enough to really get that, give Geno just enough time to be elusive enough, right? The rest of the interior offensive line holds up really well. And then this is just it's a really good throw. It's an even better run or route ran by Ken Walker, the wheel. Metcalf's entire assignment is to really he draws down these two defenders because, you know, he's our number one guy, right? He should be drawing a double team on a play like that. And that allows Ken Walker to get the one-on-one opportunity with the linebacker. And more likely than not, he gets that win every single time. Just a really good throw by Geno. More Seahawks fans cheering in the corner. Hooray. And go ahead, Abel.
Oh, I was just going to say, it wasn't even like bad coverage necessarily. K9 had a step on him. But, yeah, at that point, it's just like execution again. It's Geno with a great throw, K9 full effort, full extension. Good execution, good play type call. And, I mean, pretty perfect play all around.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
you put it where only K9 could catch it. But, man, he, like I said earlier, he had to make a stretched out two-handed grab that mostly receivers make catches like that. You don't see running backs going horizontal like that to make that play. It was for a guy who was sick, and I don't know how sick exactly he was, but it sounded like he was pretty bad. I don't know what Dayquil or stuff he took for that, but man, he lit it up despite being as sick as he was.
Yeah, so the Falcons run a disguised man coverage here, and that extra safety is essentially that double team for DK. So it's a perfect play call because essentially you bring the safety out of the picture. Like I said, everybody else has got their man. The linebacker's assignment is to follow Ken Walker, and Ken Walker just goes around Metcalf, right, which allows that double team to crack, which allows DK to cut inside, draw that double team, and essentially puts him into a foot race with Ken Walker, and Ken Walker's going to beat that every time. So, yeah. Impressive.
Somebody had a question, Tyler Green, asking, is DK okay?
Didn't practice today. I honestly, I would expect him to practice tomorrow, I think. But usually if he practices tomorrow, it's usually a good sign.
Yeah. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, they'll probably put it as a game time decision. It's definitely not a long-term thing right now.
I think it's an MCL strain.
MCL
I think it's what it is, right? Which is better an MCL than an ACL any day of the week. But
they probably just didn't want to push him too hard today, so that's probably what they were going for.
Either way, it's going to be crucial. So we'll definitely be eyeing the injury report for that one. Because if we don't have DK, that changes things quite a bit. We'll probably see a lot more of Bobo if that's going to be the case. All right, next play.
Yeah, for some reason everybody likes Bobo.
The guy could block. He's a playmaker. He doesn't get that many opportunities. But I'm not going to say sub him in for DK, of course. All right, what you got?
So Falcons ran a lot of these plays. They saw how the Niners exploited the zone defense, or zone offense, or zone run game against our defensive line and linebackers the entire game on Thursday night. And so they bring their skill player around essentially behind the quarterback. And then again, the Falcons, because they're, for some reason, Kirk Cousins, I guess, doesn't feel comfortable working under shotgun because of his Achilles. They're working in the pistol formation almost exclusively the entire game. So what's ended up happening is Seattle's actually running a zone here. They're running that 4-2, almost 4-4 look, nickel look, and this is going to be this happened a lot, right? The Falcons are going to try and get Bijan Robinson towards this sideline, and they're going to try and get these linebackers moving away by drawing the running back out over there and getting their offensive line moving in that direction is one. So, right, they bring him back. Let me cut back here just a little bit. They bring him back. You get your linebackers' feet shifting. But again, we read it all the way. We do a really good job of keeping contained, right? Job does a good job. He breaks down here. Our safeties stay home, right? They're not really picking and choosing gaps yet. They're just waiting, being patient. Our linebackers crash down. And again, this is going to be a play that's going to praise Jerome Baker, right? Despite him not being on the club anymore, it's a play that praises him. But again, something that an adjustment that was made during this past week to not over-contain, but also to have guys there in the event that Robinson does cut outside and to essentially fill those gaps that these running backs are going to be looking for. And he slows them down enough, does a good job. I think believe that's Derek Hall that makes the stop. And we'll see it again here. We'll get a much better view. Calls for that motion, gets those feet moving, and he reads the gap perfectly. Job is there just in the event for help, and really good job there. Despite Baker not being in the club anymore, it was definitely refreshing to see an improvement and being able to stop the zone run game. So I enjoyed that.
I'm hoping when Jones has that same exact play that he'll read the gap the same, but he'll actually make the tackle. You know, that's part of the problem is that a lot of times they're not getting the tackle. And if you don't have the pursuit, sometimes he just keeps on running. We've seen that happen. So he got part A right. He just here again didn't make the tackle. It didn't hurt him.
Tackling has been an issue this year.
Yeah, and Ernest Jones is definitely, at least on paper, and from what I've seen, a better tackler. So hopefully we'll see that too and mitigate some of these. We've seen these plays like this, these stretch plays that just go like you think, oh, they should be stopped at. And then they get to the next level. And next thing the guy's going for 15, 20, 25, 30 yards down the field.
Right. So, yeah.
All right, back on offense here.
Right, back on offense. Told you we love to put JSN in motion all the time. More of the spread trips look. When you usually get a trips look like this, right, the Falcons run that stack coverage essentially, and they're drawing three men here, and they're also looking like it's a possible blitz, right? It looks like it's a possible blitz. Again, one high safety. When you have a trips like this in a spread pro offense, you're more than likely going to have a interesting route combination, right? Comeback route from Lockett, probably something over the middle from JSN. And so, nope. Where did I find my eraser? There you go. And a lot of these routes might overlap each other, but I'm paying attention also to the protection that Geno gets when the Falcons do blitz. So we'll go ahead and look at that, and then we'll break it down a little bit more. Route tree concept, there you go. Everybody really breaks in. Bobo comes out. Bobo and Jason go in. Lockett, just a pro route runner, gets a beautiful delivery from Geno. And it felt like this was one of these play, right? Set hut, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. He had more than 2.66 seconds to essentially snap the ball, right? They would count it 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. So he had a decent amount of time to throw the ball, and we'll get a good look here, right? Falcons send an extra man. Noah Fant gets his chip. Everybody holds serve. Connor Williams and Laken Tomlinson and Charles Cross do a fantastic job. They seal off that edge, right? They provide that window of opportunity for Geno to throw that ball, and it really leaves the two younger guys on their own here. And Anthony Bradford does a fantastic job. Look how low he gets with his feet. Look at how grounded Jarrell is into the ground. This is impressive, right? This was something that, I was just skimming through plays, and I looked at this and I was like, wow, this is impressive look. This is an impressive look from our offensive line right here. Cross gets low. And this is obviously isn't a play where we're looking to go 35 yards down the field. It's a play where we're looking to get a first down on third down. And we do exactly that. So if we let this run out just a little bit here, look how low these guys are getting. Jarrell is doing a great job. I mean, he's not allowing anything. If anything, he's just giving him just a little bit of leeway just to essentially reset his feet once in a while, which is a typical thing. And we'll go back here. Look at our tackle's footwork. Fantastic, amazing, just textbook footwork from Charles Cross, right? Textbook footwork from Charles Cross. Connor Williams is always the low man. He stays low. Jarrell goes into an incredible shuffle here. A lot of offensive linemen, you see that they may lose their balance. They may fall to the swim move because their feet aren't entirely grounded, which is what Judon tries to pull off here. But that isn't the case, and he does his little shuffle, and it's a fantastic job holding serve against a guy who was considered the Falcons' top pass rusher, and just outpowers him. And there you go, first down, Seahawks.
Oh man, that's great because that's a blitz. They sent 5 on that one, and we talked about it before. We knew that the Falcons aren't exactly the best at rushing the quarterback. They don't get home with 4, and they don't really get home with 5 either. So, so I don't know if it's just that we're that great or are they just that bad. Maybe it's a combination of the two. We just seem better overall on the protection, but we were going against a team that maybe wasn't the best at that. But nonetheless, you should do what we just did, right? If a team's not good at rushing the passer, well, they showed that. And yeah, Gerald was a pleasant surprise on what he was able to do and keeping Geno relatively clean for the most part. So yeah, very pleased with the way the line performed.
We'll take a look at one last play that essentially sealed the victory for the Seahawks, and it looks the look again, 4-man stunt, 2-man linebacker, really looks like an offset zone. It looks like this safety is going to drop back into this deep zone. Kobe Bryant's going to go down over here, and everybody else will essentially kind of retreat and give ground to anything. Give ground to anything in front. We're not trying to get beat deep. It looks like they're playing up, right? Seattle's like, okay, you can give ground. Ball is thrown over the middle. It's because of Cousins, a lot of this isn't really talked about much. Depth perception is something that is huge. It looks like from Cousins' point of view, when he releases this ball, it looks like these guys are really close together. And in reality, they're not. He's 2 yards away, moving in a forward, his momentum is moving him into a forward direction. Meanwhile, Pitts moves over here. Bryant reads it perfectly, undercuts the overthrown ball. Pitts sort of really just too high, overthrown, intercepted, slide down, steals the game for us. Essentially puts a ribbon on it, and we'll see how Seattle backs into zone really, really fast. Try to keep everything underneath to a medium distance, right? We're not essentially playing so far back that we're willing to give up big chunks of underneath, but playing that medium ground underneath defense there. And finally, great to see more turnovers in this game on this last clip. First career interception for Kobe Bryant, I guess. There you go. That is that.
That was his first. I didn't realize that was his first career interception. Good for him, though. So is that the last play?
That is the last play. Big Friday night in Los Angeles.
Wow. I'm just a little bummed. I love it. I love your breakdown. I like your choices. Except you're missing the one I thought we would look at, because that was kind of the one that really it wasn't the game sealer, but it was definitely the one that got the momentum swinging. The sack. The sack of
that one really,
Mafe.
There wasn't much from a technicality standpoint.
True, that's true. Maybe that's right. It was just a great play.
Okay, so Norb, did you ever look at? So I was in the live stream for like 5 seconds, and I mentioned the Witherspoon block. No one knew what I was talking about, but if you look at the strip sack, you see him come out of nowhere and just block the alignment.
I didn't see it at the time. I think I was so transfixed on Derek Hall running with the football. But then after I saw it later, I was like, oh, there it is. Witherspoon just looks like the flash. Come flying in there, and he cuts off the offensive lineman who's trying to cut off Hall before getting to the end zone, and he just sort of gets in his way. And yeah, he was flying in. It was pretty awesome. But
I
yeah.
love to see it. I love to see it.
Yeah, it was great. And Boya Mafe, man, I mean, that was what Boya Mafe was doing in the first 3 games. He would be flying everywhere, like just hunting down the quarterback like a lion hunting down an antelope, right? He's just, pouncing on the prey. And that's what I loved about that is how he came on after him. And he came in fast and hard and then just knocked that ball off. I mean, that really changed the game because if Atlanta, gone down and scored, it would have been another tight game. So, yeah, great breakdowns, guys. All right. Well, we're going to talk briefly as we get closer to wrapping the show up. A brief little prediction about what we expect to see against the Bills who come in on Sunday. But we're going to do our the score predictions are next. Let's do our breakdown now. Let's talk about, I guess, what we expect to see happening against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. What's it going to take for the Seahawks to get a win, and then we'll do a score predictions. Look at the ones from last week, of course, too. So, Sky-High, let's get your just sort of keys to the game.
I'd say my keys to the game is continue to build on the formula that we saw last week. We saw the Bills are going to be a much more formidable opponent against compared to the Falcons, and we're finally being thrust into the spotlight. We're going to have a big crew in for Fox this week. Covering the game, it's going to feel like this is our moment really to put ourselves really into that picture where, hey, we can. 2 weeks ago was really a flash in the pan. I think we're still building towards something great this season, and I think the keys really are going to be continue to build on that confidence that we gained on offense a week ago, and continue to run the ball well, continue to run it successfully. I'm going to expect to probably see more passing again. Rely on that passing game and rely on that hopefully rejuvenated confidence from that offensive line. We can't have Geno going down every play. We can't be giving up sacks. We can't be being sloppy, committing penalties. We have to come out firing. We have to come out and execute every single play. Pay attention to those details. Keep attention to those details on the offensive side of the ball, and success will come from you. I'd like to see possible play action. I'd like to see some trickery even then. I'd like to see something pull out all the stops to try and beat this Bills defense, which has been beyond impressive this year. And then for defense, Josh Allen is the X factor of this team. He, in any way, shape, or form, is to not be counted out for any single play. You have to keep in fact that he might run the ball, that he can throw the ball. They have a new weapon in Amari Cooper. He's going to be incorporated. That presents a different challenge for this defense. I challenge not just the secondary, because I believe Rick Woolen will be back this week. I challenge the run and pass rush to be able to get home to Allen. He's one of the toughest QBs to tackle. We have to stay disciplined when it comes to both containment in the QB and in the run game, because the Bills are going to run the ball a lot against us. We have to be able to stop the inside and zone run, and we have to be able to contain Allen when they go into the passing scenarios and when they go into the passing downs. If not, it'll make life fairly easy for them. And the keys to the game, we have to get sacks. That's sacks. With pressure comes turnovers, comes mistakes. Allen has yet to throw an interception at all this year. We have to force turnovers. We have to make them make mistakes so we can beat them.
A lot to cover there. He lists a whole laundry list of things we got to do, but all of them pretty right on the nose. It's possible. Abel, how about you? Keys to the game for you?
Well, this is going to be our toughest task, I think, that we may play all year. People thought Atlanta would be tough last week. Well, now you're playing one of the QBs that are going for MVP. I mean, Josh Allen will by far has been the most tough QB we have faced, or that we're going to face. And, yeah, like Sky said, we're going to have to force turnovers. But I think it might also be more of a coaching thing. I think we've seen this year QBs run all over us. We've seen it quite a few times, actually. And Josh Allen's one of those guys that can run and throw. He can sling it. So I think the key to the game is going to be to prevent explosive plays and limit their options. If maybe we take a guy out of the secondary, we put a spy on Allen, mid-game adjustments, and yeah, Amari Cooper and James Cook, they are both some of their top tier weapons. And we're going to have to find a way to prevent big plays from happening and, big chunks of yardage. If we can force turnovers, that's going to be one of the ways we win. And we know this Bills team does not turn the ball over a lot, so it's going to be a big task. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I think we need to see a lot of what we did last week. I think we need to distribute the ball, run the ball, because we've seen this year, we've seen Geno throw 50 passes or more, and we also see K9. When K9 has 15 rushes and maybe Geno has like 20 throws, we see some more like even distribution. If Metcalf has 90 yards, JSN has 60, Tyler Lockett has 70, and we see all that, and we just see us being consistent, not turning the ball over, being efficient, not being sloppy. I see us winning this game.
I like your optimism. Again, lots of keys here. I'm going to try to keep mine simple because there's so many things that you can say that you kind of say for every game, right? Minimize penalties, time of possession, stuff like that. I feel like this kind of reminds me a little bit of the going into the 49ers game where Seattle's got to do more than just kind of go back and forth. I feel like if it's just they get the ball and they do their thing. We get the ball, we try to do our thing. And it's like if it just keeps going back and forth, we're going to be in some trouble because I feel like Josh Allen is that good. He has not thrown an interception. That's one of his weaknesses he's had before where he's thrown the ball and turned it over in bad situations, but he hasn't done that at all this year. And he can run. And we haven't seen a quarterback like this yet. And so that's going to put a lot of pressure on this defense to get off the field. I feel like it's kind of like the Falcons game. The reason that Falcons game turned so much in our favor was that play we didn't get to watch, the strip sack fumble. We needed a fluky we hadn't had a turnover in such a long time, less a turnover that turned into a touchdown, right? That changed the game. I feel like we're going to need that spark, something big on the defense, or maybe a big, play that, whether it be another kick return for a touchdown or a big bomb play, a trick play that just gets, just completely, just turns things around and shocks the Bills and gets them out of whack. We'd love to see it on the defense because anytime the defense gets going, I feel like those turnovers come in bunches. So I'm going to put it almost solely on the turnover side of this. If we can be in the plus side of the turnovers, preferably 2 or more, I feel like that's what it's going to take to beat Josh Allen and the Bills. We can do everything else, but it's just like against Atlanta, right? You look at the stats I showed earlier. We got beaten in a lot of the other categories, and the one thing that we beat them on was the turnovers. That was the key because everything else was kind of even and actually in their favor. So we got a lot to clean up, but I feel like the roster moves we've had, Michael Jarrell is, as we see on tape, holding his own. Hopefully the new linebacker, Ernest Jones, is going to do well and fill in and limit those explosive plays. So I feel like, and if we have Tariq Woolen, and we talked about, if we can get these guys back and get them healthier, we'll be much more competitive. And we're starting to get there. I mean, when we get Nwosu back in there and everybody, so, we're slowly getting pieces back into time. So I feel like that's improving our chances of not being bowled over. So, but I still feel like we got to have a little bit of luck on our side. Turnovers are a little bit of luck and a lot of just being in the right place, right time. All right, so we're going to do our score predictions, but before we do, we got to take a look back at last week's score predictions of what we thought was going to happen in the Seahawks-Falcons game. Here's a recap of our predictions from last week. Check it out.
I think we get back on track. We can't lose 4 in a row. I got a 23-17 win for the Hawks.
It'll be a thriller that comes down to the leg of Younghoe Koo. The center snaps the ball is up in the air. It's looking like down the middle, but it goes wide right. And the Seattle Seahawks win 33-30.
Who have a tie ball game with the ball in their hands inside of 2 minutes. DK Metcalf across the middle. He breaks a tackle, spins through, gets to the 35-yard line. Geno spikes it with 3 seconds left. A 52-yard field goal. Jason Myers, the hold, the kick, end over end. Oh no, it's angling right. No, it comes back to the middle. And the Seahawks win 30 31-27 and leave Atlanta 4-3.
That Falcon will get bruised and battered in the trenches. He'll come out with his claws cut off in his head, in our mouths. We will defeat the Atlanta Falcons by 6 points and a score of 33-27. Yeah, I finally got one right.
There we go. Yeah, that was, well, we were all right. You know, I give thumbs up because we predicted the right win or loss. Obviously, we didn't get the scores perfectly, but actually, Sky-High was the closest to the pin, being that you guessed it. Like, we had 34, they got 33. They got 14. You got closest to the amount. But what's kind of cool about that, though, is we all had a little piece of things being right. Like, Abel, you predicted Young Hui Koo would miss the field goal. Granted, it wasn't a game winner or loser, but he did miss a field goal. I predicted Jason Myers was going to hit a 52-yarder. And it would go in. He hit a 59-yarder. So we kind of had some, accurate elements, but we all picked them to win, and luckily it happened. All right, so before we get to the score predictions, let me go to my sponsor here, BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Let's check out the odds right here. So if you go to BetUS, you can see if you went to the Seahawks game right now, we got the Bills 3-point favorites in Seattle, which really makes them like a 6-point favorite if you include the home field normally getting spotted 3 points. So the Bills are -3. So if you feel like the Bills are going to win this game and you feel pretty good about it, well, you can put your money there. You put your bet over here. You say, okay, I'm going to put it on the Bills, and I'm going to put $50 in. And if you do, you would win $43.48 right there. You place your bet, and that's good to go. But the best part about it is if you put the code YouTube150, they'll actually match you 150% of your first deposit and then 125% on your next two. So you get extra money to play with if you choose to do this. Of course, void where prohibited, and please gamble responsibly. All right. And of course, if you decide to go the other way and you were to go here we go. If we got Seahawks, of course, if you were to bet for the Seahawks, who are 3-point underdogs, you get a little bit more in your return, $47.62. So there you go. That's kind of how it works, and that's the code you get in order if you want to get a little extra money to play with in this on BetUS. All right, so let's go to our predictions. I think let's start with Abel. Your prediction of the Seahawks-Bills game on Sunday.
Well, there's going to be a lot of intensity in that stadium. Bills Mafia will be present, but a lot of the 12s will be there as well. It'll be an up-and-down game. Geno Smith will have a 200-yard game with 2 touchdowns, but also a pick. And it'll be hard to keep up with the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen's going to sling it. He hasn't thrown a pick, and I don't think he will again this week. Everything is going wrong for the Seahawks. James Cook's 60-yard touchdown run. And I hate to say it, it's gut-wrenching. But I do have the Bills winning 31-17.
Ouch. That's brutal. That's a 2-score thumping by the Bills. Oh, man. Whew. Well, let's go to Nick, who's not here, but he was kind enough to give us a score prediction.
He's not here. I don't know where he is. But,
he's not here in person, but he's here in spirit. So let's see, what would Nick have predicted this game to be? We got to put the appropriate soundtrack.
Oh, man. Nick's on vacation. There he is.
On vacation, but Nick's enthusiasm is not. He says the Seahawks win 31-27, a 4-point win for the Seahawks, while Nick LaBow is out in the tropics somewhere taking in the sun and not here for this game.
He's with the Seahawks.
All right, so there you go. 31-27 for Nick LaBow. I'll give mine because I always got to save Sky-High Aviations for last. All right, so I'm going with mine. For this game, Seahawks-Bills, I'm not going to get too dramatic. I'm going to kind of get right to the point here. I said in my keys to the game that the Seahawks are going to have to get a little luck. They're going to have to get some turnovers here. And if they have to go in a game where it's just back and forth, I don't know if we have the ability to repel that kind of firepower. It's going to be a battle of attrition. And I feel right now we're trending in the right direction, but I feel like unless we can get those sneaky good opportunities and some turnovers, I feel like the ball just may not bounce enough ways in this game. My score prediction is the Bills 29, Seahawks 24. I don't want this. Believe me, I hope I'm wrong. I just have a bad feeling. As Hans Solo said, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got two guys on the panel saying we're going to lose. One guy on vacation who says we're going to win. That leaves one more to talk about this. Sky Aviation, your prediction.
All right, baby. Oh, you can't see me, but let's get ready to go, 12s. We're going to win this game. I'm telling you right now. We won this game, actually. We won this game already. And I'm going to tell you right now how it's going to go down. We're going to be down 23-20 at the late fourth quarter. I'm telling you right now. As I disappear into the darkness, to the depths of darkness, Geno Smith will lead us on a drive with 1 minute and 22 seconds left. We will go down the field. We will score a DK Metcalf game-winning touchdown. And we're going to win this game, baby. Hit the guitar. Hit the drums. We're going to win. Get fired up, baby. Let's go. Seahawks win 27-23. And we go do 5-3, baby. Let's freaking go. Beat those Bills. Put them in their place.
Gotta love it.
He's muted.
We're kind of split up the panel, 2 out of 2. All right, so you guys have already been putting your predictions in the chat. Keep it going. Let's see, let's just bang through a couple of these. We got Seth, we say Zardy. Zardy says Seahawks 40, Bills 12. Fire Pile 129, 40-10. Alan Adams 38-40. FinApp says 43-40 in the Bills' favor. 38-40 Seahawks. Ferg 22-3 over the Bills. 37-13 says Rouser. And last but certainly not least, who's this one? Alan Adams 44-40. I think I said that one all right. All right, there you go. Short and Hoops says, love Abel, but sorry, I'm a Niners fan. Go Niners. Isn't that weird how is it friends of yours?
Wait, yeah, that is my friend.
Yeah? Who's this? Short and Hoops?
Yep.
Short and Hoops. Ah, look at that. You got a whole posse in the thumbnail.
He's in my gym class.
Oh, right on. All right, well, thanks for watching, you guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, Abel holding it down, man. Holding it down here on the Hawks Real Talk.
There we go.
All right. Well, there we go. Oh, one more. People says Allen overrated Seahawks 33, Bills 10.
We're really, we're really confident.
It's like either a blowout or a loss. It's going to be one or the other. 33-17. Hello, FR. 33-17. Allen exposed. Well, we'd love to be the one to expose Allen, right? Maybe, it's just like Vikings, right? The Vikings were undefeated, and all of a sudden they've come crashing down to earth. Maybe Allen and company will come crashing down to earth. We'll see. It's going to be a good game, though. I'm thrilled about this one. It's going to be Halloween, the game before Halloween, so I'm going to be dressed appropriately, some special Halloween themed face paint. I can't wait to don for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's it. We'll see what happens. We'll do this again next week, wrapping up this game to talk about it, and of course, in anticipation of the next game, which will be the Rams, the LA Rams, the following week, who are just now starting to heat up a little bit. That's it. Guys, did you want to say anything about your channels or anything that you guys want to talk about before we sign off here? Sky-High Aviation is going to be a pilot someday. He's already a pilot in training over in University of North Dakota. He's got his channel on YouTube called Sky-High Aviation. You can see that in the description. But any new updates on there? Anything you want to share?
No, absolutely.
No, you're just he's busy doing school. He's got no time for that right now. But like I said, someday you're going to hear his voice over the intercom saying, "This is Sky-High Aviation. We'll be going to cruising altitude of 40,000 feet." And I used to do YouTube stuff with NorbFam back in the day, but now I'm more powerful, richer, and I fly a plane now.
Oh wow! All right.
Over. I mean, Abel, anything else you want to talk about? Anything on your channel, or just you just doing the school thing? And
yeah, no, I'm just chilling, trying to do something maybe related to some sports. But other than that, yeah, just occupied with school and sports, and go Hawks. I'm excited for this weekend.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys for watching, for tuning in, for all you who are chatting. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Like this video. And catch us next time. Oh, notification bell. Oh, what happened to it? Oh, no sound effect. Doggone it. Actually, I had a bell sound effect, but it's not working apparently. Oh, doggone it. Oh, well. Do I have? Oh, there it is. Notification bell. Notification bell. Ring it. All right, that's it. We're out of here. Let's kick that intro one more time before we say goodnight. Here it comes. Let's go.
Let's go. About to get this win.
Go Hogs, baby. Woo!